On today's video, I'm going to be showing you a foundation tutorial and also giving you my foundation routine, how to make your foundation actually sit well on your face and look flawless despite the condition of your face. Like mine, I have a lot of dark spots and a few pimples, like I have acne, that is. So I'm going to show you how you can make your foundation sit well and look flawless. So watch this video till the end, and without any further ado, let's slide, jump or walk into the video. Before we go any further, please hit that subscribe button and also give this video a thumbs up. That like, hit it so that it will be recommended to as many people as possible. That's also another way of actually supporting me. So without wasting more time, let's proceed with the video. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean up my face, and I'm going to be using these baby wipes. So you always want to work with a clean face. And before you even use your foundation, it's good you apply a primer. There are so many types of primers, and let me show you a few. Here with me, I have 3 different types of primers, and I have this first one. This one is a moisturizing primer. It's from Illegal. There's so many other moisturizing primers. So I have this one. This one is for people who have dry skin. Yes, if you have a dry skin, you use a moisturizing primer. And then we have another one here. We have this HD color correcting face primer. So for people like me who have dark spots, you use this type of primer. This one is good to hide those dark spots, so you use a color correcting primer. And I also have this one. This one is anti-redness primer and anti-roughage primer. So I have some roughages, so this one is also good for me, but I can't use this one because it's a moisturizing primer and I have an oily skin. So if I use this one, I'll be too oily, I'll look too oily, so I can't use this one, but I can use these two. So this one is anti-redness and anti-roughage, and the reason why we use primer is because primer just creates that barrier between your face, like your skin, and the makeup that you are putting on. And also when you put on primer, it just makes your makeup last longer. And so for today, I'm going to be using this one. And this one also makes your makeup last longer, and this one also makes your makeup last longer. So I'm just going to apply it. And then blend it with my fingers. Ensure it's well blended. So after blending in your primer, you can now go in with your foundation. So for foundation, you have to first ensure that you're using a foundation that is your shade. How do you actually test your foundation? So you don't actually test your face, but you test either your neck, or you can match it to your neck, or you can also match it to your chest. So I'm going to use this foundation. I already know my shade, so I'm going to be using this one. So how you match your foundation is you just apply it, let's say on my neck here, and then it has to disappear. You shouldn't see any marks, like it should disappear. So you see, you can't even see it. And if you're going to use a beauty blender, for example, I'll use this beauty blender. And how you actually test your beauty blenders before you buy any beauty blenders, it's good that you test if it's soft or it's hard. So with the hard one, like this one, you see it's very soft. You see, it's very soft. So if I'm going to be using a hard one, it will be really difficult for me to blend. It doesn't blend well compared to if you use a soft one. So this one is soft and it's very easy to use. So if you're going to use a beauty blender, don't directly use it when it's dry. Like this way directly. You have to wet it first. So I have my water here in this cup. It's just water. So I'm going to dip this beauty blender here, and you see how small it was and right now how big it is. So it's right now wet, and then I'm going to squeeze out all this water. You see, I'm going to squeeze that water out. And ensure that I don't have any more water left. So I still have more water, you see, like it's dripping. So I have to ensure that I don't have any more water left. If you still feel like your beauty blender still has more excess water, you can use a towel, a clean dry towel, to remove the excess water. But right now you see, like, it doesn't have any more water, and it's a little bit bigger in size compared to how it was when it was dry. So after that, I'm now going to be using my foundation, and the foundation of today is this Zaron. I love Zaron foundation. Actually, it matches me very, very well. If you are a dark skinned person, Zaron is a good foundation. But if you are a bit lighter, I found out that Maybelline is a really good foundation with lighter people. Yes, but for Zaron, it's good with people who have dark skin. So I'm going to be using this one, apply a little bit at the back of my hand, and then if I'm going to do makeup on a client, I normally start from the neck going up. But as for me, if I'm going to do it on myself, I normally start here and then blend it all over. So this is my foundation at the back of my hand. So I'm just going to pick a little bit. This one is actually too much. Just a little bit of it, and then apply it here. You don't start from here, because if you do start from here, you will end up having a lot here, and most of the time our nose are oily. So if you apply too much, it will look not so good, and you don't even want to end up with a lot of products around this area, because it will definitely crease. So I'm just going to start from this area, like my cheek area, and then blend that foundation in. And the good thing about this foundation is that it's full coverage. It's medium to full coverage. And since I have dark spots, you see how good it does with hiding those dark spots. So I'm just going to blend in this foundation, and I start from here going outwards or either inwards, but mostly I love going outwards first, so that I don't end up with a lot of product around this area. And extend it to my neck. And you don't even need a lot of product with this one. Just a little goes a long way. You see how much of a huge difference we have between this area and this one. And if you're going to use a brush, you don't wet it, you use it when it's dry. But if you're going to use a beauty blender like I am, you just wet it first, so that you have better coverage. Yeah, and it's even easier to use. So that it matches really well. And also this part, never forget about this part, because if you do, you look like there is something left. You just look like there is something left. So also on this area, ensure that you've not forgotten about it. So if you've seen, I try and avoid this area, because I'm also going to go in with concealer, so I avoid applying too much product around this area, because if I do, it will end up creasing, and I don't want to crease. So I just avoid that area. And then when it comes to the forehead, I just use products from other areas. I don't apply fresh products, especially if you're a beginner. Don't apply fresh product around your forehead area, because it might be very tricky for you to blend. That's why at times you find out that you're looking like you have two different faces, like your face is separated because maybe your face is looking a little bit lighter and then your head is looking darker a bit because you have applied too much product around that area, especially around your hairline area. Don't apply too much product, so just use product from other areas, like from here, then take it to your forehead area, yeah, like that. And this is the progress that we have so far. So right now I'm now going to highlight, and to highlight I'm going to be using a concealer. The concealer that I'll be using today is the LA Girl Pro Concealer, and I'm going to use it in the shade Fawn. So I have Fawn here. This is Fawn. This is LA Girl Pro Concealer. So this Fawn, I'm going to apply it around this area, my chin. And if you have a big forehead, don't go way too up with the concealer. Just apply it around this area, like your brow area, around your brow area. Don't go way too much, because if you do, you'll make your forehead look bigger. So highlighting and contouring, when you're highlighting, you're just making that area visible. So if you go way too up with the concealer when you're highlighting, it means that that forehead will be too visible, like that area that you've highlighted itaonekana sana, and you don't want that. So to keep it looking a little bit smaller, you just don't go way too up with the highlight, with the concealer highlight. Yes. So then after that, I'm just now going to highlight around this area, not too much product. And also at the bridge of my nose. Allow your product to sit for a little bit before you apply the next product. So I'm just going to allow this concealer to set a little bit before I go in and blend it, so that I can have better coverage. Yes, when you allow it to sit, it gives you better coverage compared to if you're going to just apply it and immediately blend it. So I'm just going to use this mirror and pepper myself so that I can fasten the process. And if you have a fan, you can actually use it, but since I don't have one, so I'm just going to use this mirror to fasten the process. And don't leave it for too long, because then it will be very hard to blend, because it will have dried up. Concealers dry up very quick, so you don't want to leave it for too long, because it will dry up and you don't want it to dry up. And then you don't drag your concealer too much, because if you do, you look like your face is sagged and you don't want that. So I think that's enough. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend in that concealer. When you see, it gives you good coverage. If I would have left it for a bit much longer, it would have actually dried up and it would be very hard for me to blend. So you see, it does a good job with and if you used a blender, a beauty blender, to actually apply your foundation, don't go in with a fresh beauty blender or another brush. Just use the same beauty blender that you are using, because it becomes very easy to actually blend the two products together, because when you're blending, you're just mixing the two colors together, the two products together. So since this beauty blender that you are using still has some products left for the foundation that you are using, it becomes much easier to actually blend it with the concealer compared to if you use a fresh beauty blender or another brush. So yeah, just use the same beauty blender that you are using. And in case you are using a brush, just use still the same brush, don't use another one, a different one. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit lighter concealer because I want to make my under eyes a little bit brighter and also the bridge of my nose. So the concealer that I was using before is this one. This one is Fawn, and now I'm going to use Cool Tan, which is a little bit lighter than Fawn. And then after that, blend. And when you're blending, look up so that you can actually blend around this area. Even if you're doing clients' makeup, ask them to look up so that you can get to this area. And around that area, you don't use this part, like this thick part, you use this smaller part, like this sharp part. So this is the progress that we have so far. So after using a concealer, because a concealer is a cream, always set it, because if you don't, this concealer will move a lot and you don't want it to move. So actually you go in with a powder. You can either use a finishing powder or you can use a loose powder. So as for me, I am going to use this finishing powder. I'm going to be using this finishing powder. This is from Illegal and it's in the shade, let me tell you, it's in the shade Classic Tan. So this one is the one that I'm going to be using. And when you're using it, just use one that is a little bit lighter than your skin tone. You don't want to use one that is actually in your skin tone, because that would mean that you won't look like you are highlighted. Yes, you're actually going to use one that is a little bit lighter than your skin tone. And this one is a little bit lighter than my skin tone. So this one is the one that I'm going to use. And still, I'm using this beauty sponge. And after setting the highlighted areas, this is what we have so far. So when you set, it makes your product not to move and not to transfer as much as it would have transferred when you just let it sit like that without setting. So now this is what I have. I'm now going to contour and bring out my face to look a little bit tinier. You see, like right now it's a little bit bigger, so I'm going to make it look a little bit tinier. And to contour, I'm going to be using this eyeshadow palette. This is Morphe eyeshadow palette. You can actually use an eyeshadow palette to contour, and you use a dark brown shade to contour. So I have this dark brown shade, and it's the one that I'm going to use to contour, and I'm using this brush because it's actually easier to pick up that shade. And you be very careful because you might pick up other shades and it may not look that good. So to contour, I'm just going to lift up my face. So when you're lifting up your face, you definitely want to start from here going like that, just with the shape that you want. You can actually make your face to look exactly the way you want it to. So if you are a beginner, this is how you do it. So you do it like this, and then you'll get some guidelines on where to start and actually where to stop. So let me show you. You see, that's where you should start. So like that, and then lift it up like that, not drag it down. If you drag down, you look like your face is sagging, but you don't want that, so you lift it up and start from here going to here up to where you want it. So I just want it to end here, so I'm not going to do it past that. Can you spot some difference between this side and this other side? Can you? So if you look this side, my cheeks are so big. Look at this. And this side, they don't look that big. So this side looks lifted a bit compared to this one. So yeah, you just want to make your face have that structure that you want. If you don't want your face to look tinier, you can just skip this step, but it's good to contour. It makes your face have some good structure, so that's why I'm actually doing this. So I'm just lifting my face right now, and I find it easier using either a brush. This is a foundation brush, and you can also use it to contour compared to if I use the beauty blender now. So I find it easier because I have more control of where I want to place these and how I want to do it. Yes, so I normally use either this brush or this other one. But still blend everything together, and this is the progress that we have so far. I'm not going to contour my nose and make it look sharper, so I'm just still going to use the same shade of eyeshadow that I was using, the dark brown shade, and this is what I have so far. So I'm now going to do the rest of my makeup, including the lipstick, and then come back and show you the final result. And this is the final look, guys. I decided to go in with a nude lip, and this is the final look, guys. So tell me in the comment section, would you like to see more of these talk through videos, or would you like to see the voiceover videos, and have you learned something? Tell me on the comment section, and please ensure you've subscribed and liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. And until next time, bye bye.